Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Arkansas Gun Guy. Today I want to take a look at double action, single action polymer framed firearms. And I think that's interesting because polymer framed firearms are kind of all that's in the industry now. All the best selling firearms are polymer framed, whether it's the best selling 365 series from SIG, the 320 series from SIG, which is the second best selling gun, all the Glocks we've sold for the past 30 years. Those are all polymer framed, but they're all striker fired. Now, way before that became all the rage, double action, or single action only, hammer fired metal frame guns kind of started all the handgun industry, whether it was the 1911, the Browning high powers, the SIG 210, the SIG 220 series, the Berettas. They were all double action, single action, or hammer fired pistols with metal frames. So what if you combine metal frame, double action, single action, the single actions from the single action double actions from metal frame guns, and polymer from today's best-selling firearms? What's out there? I think two of the best double action, single action polymer options are H&K's P30L in this case, and Beretta's PX4 Storm, full-size version here. Again, there are other options out there. I think these are probably two of the best, with a couple of very important disclaimers because I'm going to get yelled at. H&K has kind of owned the polymer frame hammer-fired gun for the past 30 years because they started it all with the USP series. Not going to talk about that gun in this series other than right here because it is one of the best guns ever made. It sets a standard for everything. It's been battle tested. It's amazing. I've got a whole collection of them as well. But the P30 is an evolution of that gun. So it has, a option for optics in some versions, and it has a standard 1913 pick rail. USP still got the proprietary pick rail. It's just as it was built 30 years ago, which is perfect and awesome. I just don't want to talk about it in this comparison. So I won't talk about the USP, which is a great option. But also I'm missing one good one here, and that's the CZ P07 and P09. I just don't have one. I think those are probably great firearms. I love CZ's low bore axis, and so I don't have one yet. I should qualify. So in the future, maybe I'll get a CZ P07, P09 in the comparison. But right now, I just want to take a close-up look at the H&K P30 and the Beretta PX4 Storm. Both of these are really good guns with a lot of really cool features that are way different from each other, and a lot of things that are really, really common together. So I'll flip the camera around and take a close-up look at them both. If you have any experience with either gun, let me know, or the CZ, put in the comments. I would love to hear more about the CZ P07, P09, in addition to your experiences with the Beretta or the H&K P30, or any other polymer frame hammer-fired guns that are out there. Big SIG fan, got my SIG hat on. I know they make the one SIG polymer, like 226 polymer frame version. I should know more about it, but I don't. Is that a good option? Anyway, I'll flip the camera around and take a close-up look at the H&K and the Beretta side by side. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe and help me grow my little channel. Thanks. Here's a close-up. Okay, here we go with close-up of H&K's P30L and Beretta's PX4 Storm full size. Before we get into the specs and comparisons, let's talk about why would you want to carry a polymer frame hammer-fired weapon. Obviously, polymer is lighter, and I like the hammer-fired weapons because your thumb is an additional safety. These guns all have multiple safeties built in, but you're most likely to shoot yourself when you're holstering the firearm. But if you can holster it and put your thumb on the hammer as you holster, that's just an insurance policy in case something in the gets inside your holster, fabric, leather, a shirt, that could catch that trigger and start to pull it. With a striker fire gun, it probably won't go off anyway. There's a safety dongle there. Some things have a manual safety, but this hammer is just a quadruple insurance policy that nothing is going to do that, because if the hammer pulls, you can feel it on your thumb here. So I'm a massive fan of just the safety features offered in a hammer-fired weapon. You can also carry it cocked and locked. That's another story. Some of these you can. But let's look at these. So that's why I like a polymer frame hammer-fired gun. But these two weapons here, they both are the full-size version, H&K's P30L and PX4 Storm full size. They come in carry options, which is one size smaller, and subcompact options, which I've been carrying here for a while. Super happy with it. They also come in multiple caliber options. The P30 comes in 9mm just here, as well as 40 Smith & Wesson. The PX4 Storm comes in 9mm, you see here, also in 40, but also there's a 45 ACP option. Now, I should note H&K also has a 45 ACP option in a similar design gun. It's just called the H&K 45 or 45C. So again, polymer, hammer-fired, multiple sizes, multiple caliber options. They're also super customizable. Both of these offer adjustable back straps to help you customize your grip on the gun. Can't do that with the metal frame gun, so that's a nice option. Now, I would say the H&K is slightly more customizable. On the PX4 Storm, this back plate comes off, and there's a small, medium, and large option. Medium here, I'll lift the medium on because it felt good in my hand when I picked it up. On the H&K, back strap also comes off. You notice it's the full back strap, not just the lower portion here. And it comes in small, medium, and large is what I've installed here. This one felt good early on. It felt great when I put this large palm swell on the back here. So I have a large back strap, but you can also on the H&K customize the side panels, and that's very cool. So I have the medium side panels left on here from the way it came, but you could technically put a large side panel and small back grip on here, anything that fits your hand better. You also have the finger grooves here where you don't here. So both customizable. This guy's a little more customizable. And while we're talking about the grip modules, I will note that of the two negative things I read about the Storm, one is this grip module here and how slick it is. Looks awesome, but it doesn't have the texture of most firearms. So I will tell you, I've got 500 rounds or so through this weapon. I've had no trouble maintaining purchase on the firearm and maintaining control of the gun. So noting that the back strap here and the front strap have very aggressive stippling on there, which really, I think, gives you plenty of control over it. Most people opt for Talon grips to go on here. I'm not going to choose those. I know I'm not doing duty work. I'm not working, not sweating, not in mud. But so far, this hasn't given me any grief at all as far as sliding around in my hand. But there is a difference in stippling on these two. There also, again, there's multiple options for these guns. I'm not going to talk about pricing because they're all over the place. Both guns probably can start in the high $500, low $600 range for base models, which this is the base model. And then you can go up to over $1,000 if you opt for night sights or sight options, which this one has night sights, or even the Langdon tactical customized versions get way north of $1,000. So you can have a medium to low end, lower high end price point, all the way up to bougie, north of $1,000 polymer frame guns on both models. So they both are kind of all over the place. I will note that this is the most standard model with the 3-dot night sights. Where the H&K here, this is one step up with the night sights. This is standard 3-dot sights. This is the night sight option with blacked out rears and that luminescent front sight there. So I was also going to talk about specs. I have them all printed out for you. Believe it or not, these guns are pretty much identical except for the barrel. This barrel is 4.5 inches long. This barrel is only 4 inches long. I will note that the H&K looks a lot bigger, but they occupy nose to tip pretty much the exact same space, with just the designs being different. The H&K has a very traditional, L-shaped line here, straight back, straight down, where the Beretta has got this kind of futuristic look of this sloping rear side back here that goes in the beaver tail. It's just a whole different design. Again, front to aft, they both have the exact same dimensions, but the barrel is half an inch difference here, and you can see your sight radius is a little bit shorter on the PX4. Shooting wise though, I'll tell you, I shoot this guy more accurately than this guy, probably because of the trigger, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But again, I love the fact that they're super customizable, different options. You can build them however you want to. And if you look at ambi friendliness, that's one thing that's important to me as a left-hander. All H&Ks are pretty much super ambi friendly, hard for you to say, with the mag release, which I'll go and show you here that we're clear. You can see that your mag release is the paddle here. It goes on both sides. Slide catch, slide stop, also ambi friendly, left and right. And your safety is ambi friendly. Now there are multiple options for H&K as far as safeties and decockers. This one is safety only here. You can carry cocked and locked. Also offers a decocker on the rear here, as such. So again, these are incredibly ambi friendly, which I certainly appreciate. Beretta, not quite as much. You do have an ambi safety and decocker on both sides here, the other negative thing I'll talk about in a second. But all the other controls are on the left-hand side for right-handers. You get your mag release here, which I'll get to show clear. Weapons clear. So your slide control lever is here, mag release there, and your controls are ambi. And that's the other call out here. The H&K controls are pretty much perfect. These guys up here are functional, but they are controversial. If you look at them from the top, I'm going to show you, they stick out like two giant ears. Hopefully you can see that here. These guys are sharp and stick straight out. Makes them very easy to actuate. You can definitely grab them and do what you want to with them. I'm wrong-handed, but easy to actuate. But if you were to slip when you're racking the slide, those can be painful. Lots of people customize these by taking these off and put more flush fit control levers on there. I'm going to leave it standard because I just like the way they look. I will note also that the safety lever on the Beretta is opposite of most safety levers. Normally, safe is up and fires down. On this guy, it works as a decocker. Cock the weapon, and you're in fire mode now. You decock it like this, and the trigger's dead. And you have to actuate back up to fire. So in this case, safe is down, fire is up. So just another difference to get used to the battery of arms if you're not used to it. Put this back in here. The other big difference on these guns is this is a Browning style tilting action where the barrel comes back and tilts down to get the next round. You can see when the gun is racked that the barrel is at a slight angle, which normally the barrel comes back and tilts down, and that kind of helps create muzzle flip. 90% of guns, or 99% of guns are probably made this way with that design, which has been around since the early 1900s and has worked perfectly. Beretta has a different, very unique design here, which is a tilting barrel. Let me see if I can show you here. This one does not follow the standard tilting Browning design that comes back and tilts down. This guy rotates, which dissipates energy, and just comes straight back, which creates less muzzle rise. So I'm going to try to actuate this here so you can see the barrel rotate. And if you look at the barrel, I won't disassemble it for you guys on this video, but there is no feed ramp on the barrel. It just, the ammunition shoots straight in. So that is just a really neat feature on this firearm that, combined with the trigger and the flat shooting, makes this gun really a joy to shoot fast. Just leave the magazines out for now. So speaking of shooting, again, this gun, the P30L, is one that I don't shoot very well. I just don't. I think it's the slightly heavier trigger pull and longer resets. Once I get about 25 to 50 rounds through it, I'm fairly accurate with it, but it takes a little getting used to. If this is the only gun I shot, I'm sure I'll be incredibly accurate with it every single time. I happen to shoot too many different guns every time I go to the range, so this is the one that takes me a while to get used to. This gun, I shot incredibly accurate right out of the box. So it's just a pleasure to shoot with the trigger pull that's on here, combined with that low muzzle rise. It's just an easy target, easy gun to stay on target, even with this shorter sight radius. It's just a really easy gun to shoot. Both guns feel great in your hand. Again, these polymer frame guns, you can customize them any way you want to. But again, this one felt perfect right out of the box for me. So shooting wise, I'd probably shoot this guy a little better. Utility wise, I'd say the H&K is probably a better utility gun because you have a little more room up here on your rail to mount lights and options if you want to. You do have a pick rail option here, but again, not quite as long. Again, this guy's a little more ambi friendly. Both are fantastic guns. I own them both, love them both. I am a self-admitted member, self-admitted member of the H&K Fanboy Club. I do believe I am now a official member of the Beretta PX4 cult. Again, both guns aren't high on the sales list for either company. The VP9 and all the old USPs got all the attention for H&K, but the P30 is an excellent hammer-fired polymer frame option, as well as the Beretta. Everybody talks about the 92 and some of the Striker Fire guns. I think this may be the best gun in Beretta's lineup. This is a direct descendant of the USP series. This is a direct descendant of the Beretta M9 or 92 series. So they just updated it to a polymer frame with the rotating barrel design. So both have wonderful lineage. Both are great adaptations of guns from the past. I was going to do my Lyman trigger gauge pull, but it's also kind of painful to watch on camera. I will tell you, this guy is little heavier on double action at mid 9 pound range. This is in the lower 9 pound range. And single action, this guy is just over 4 pounds. This guy is just over 3 pounds. So trigger action, again, this guy is a little heavier for duty use maybe. This guy, I just shoot better because of the lighter and more consistent trigger pull. So that is just a quick side-by-side look at two fantastic polymer frame options that are out there. I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you have history with either gun you'd like to share with people who are researching, or those the CZ people out there with the P07, P09? We'd love to hear your comments, and if you've compared them to either one of these. I will get a P07 eventually to carry because I love CZs. And what other polymer frame hammer fire guns am I missing? We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching the Arkansas Gun Guy.